Good morning, builders. How is everybody doing out there today? I hope everybody has their coffee, their tea, their drink of choice. On Thursday this past week, the LEGO Legacy devs hosted a Q&A on their Discord server for the upcoming Ghostbusters update. The instructions were that everybody should ask any LEGO Legacy Ghostbusters related questions. And as you might expect from a bunch of heathens, people very quickly devolved into asking questions about anything they wanted to, or just making statements at the expense of other players. It was, I would say, 50% entertaining, roughly 15% educational, and about 35% complete and utter nonsense. But what did you think? Let's find out. Go ahead and type in the comments, in the chat. Let me know what you thought. If there were things that were unclear, maybe we can go over those. We did find out a few basic things about the upcoming Ghostbusters patch. The Ghostbusters in general are apparently going to have a lot of anti-stealth, anti-spooky synergy. Axel, our first commenter, says that they should filter the questions. I agree with you 100%. I think that the slow mode that they have in the suggestions channel might be a good idea, actually. I think that making it maybe like a 1 to 2 minute slow mode rather than perhaps an hour slow mode might help, but at least it'll keep people thinking about their comments and making sure that their comment is at least 1 to 2 minutes lockout relevant to them. I think that would be a pretty good idea. We got a lot of information about who Shiz may or may not be fake married to in LEGO Legacy Kelvin Land, which was information that everybody really needed. But back to the Ghostbusters. What did you guys think about the Ghostbusters? So we found out that they're going to have anti-stealth, anti-spooky synergy. Anti-stealth, everybody's been waiting for, specifically because of the ninjas in Brickspedition. It's only whales who have a full ninja team in the arena. So very few people have been complaining about the ninjas in the arena, but there's been a lot of complaints about them in the Brickspedition. They also pretty much made it clear that Egon is going to have the ultimate ability for the Ghostbusters team by telling us that all the Ghostbusters are going to have 4 abilities, and there will be an ultimate, but Egon will have 5 abilities. So ipso facto, it seems like Egon is going to have that ultimate ability. Could you beat Brick's final node without the buff immunity? Oh, you mean my final Bricks? I could not. It was level, what was it? Level 63 ninjas for me at the end of my Bricks map, and they just wiped the floor with me. But I decided not to waste any currency on it because it was El Dorado tiles, and who's gathering El Dorado tiles, so I didn't really worry about it too much. Yes, Axel, pointing out they did actually mention that there will be 4 different styles of events for all of these Ghostbusters characters. They're all going to have unboxed, and then there will be brick pace. And he's absolutely right. There's 4 different heroes and 1 set to farm at the same time. I mean, it sounds like way too much for any one person to farm. And a few people pointed out that even for the whales, this is going to be a hard set. I mean, unless you're willing to spend $1,000 just to have 5 Ghostbusters characters, 4 plus Slimer in the game, without necessarily knowing what they're going to be useful for in the future. I mean, the events that we get each day are pretty much set already. And unless there's going to be new events that need new characters with new tags, it's hard for me to see the value in the Ghostbusters team. Tell me what you guys think about that. free to play, there's no way to get any of them high stars. That's true. And they danced around answering that question. Redbeard's pointing out a number of people asked, will it be possible for free to play players to get basically maxed out Ghostbusters? And for all intents and purposes, the devs said no. That is completely unsurprising to me, because the game's got to make some money, right? And we all know that. I think we all appreciate the fact that the game, while we get to play it for free, the game can only continue to exist if it makes a profit. So people need to spend money. They got to spend money somewhere. And if you're going to spend money, you should get something for it. Sure, great. That said, I think what Redbeard might be getting at here is, even for those of us who understand that you can spend a little bit of money to keep this game that you enjoy going, there's a threshold above and beyond which it seems greedy, right? To charge $20, for example, for the incredible Yeti pack that gives you 25 Yeti tiles for $20, this is real money being spent on just like digital short code that'll unlock the Yeti for you. And it doesn't even unlock the Yeti. 25 tiles doesn't even unlock the Yeti. And that's the kind of thing where it's like, $20 for that seems expensive. So to extrapolate toward the Ghostbusters, if they release all of them at the same time, so we're farming all of them at the same time, then we can take a guess at how much money it would take to get all of them to 7 stars. Now let's assume, for sake of argument, that getting all of those characters to 7 stars is something that only whales will do, right? And even free-to-play players would understand, I think, that getting 4 Ghostbusters and Slimer to 7 stars is something that you probably should only be able to do if you've invested a ton of money. Otherwise, what's the point in actually playing them or having the events recur? But at the same time, I think free-to-play players would want to be able to get their Ghostbusters and their Slimer up to at least like 4 stars without having to spend any money, to make it at the very least feel like they can contribute and be a part of the event. Right? I mean, take Skeleton Yorick, for example. Skeleton Yorick got unlocked for everybody in the Unboxed event at 2 stars. And then if you wanted to get him any higher, you just plain had to spend money. Now, there's basically no character in the game that's useful at 2 stars, which essentially means that the free-to-play players didn't get anything out of the Yorick event. While technically they got a 2-star Yorick, if that Yorick is unusable because he's at 2 stars, then effectively the free-to-play players got nothing but an announcement that a new character was coming into the game. You follow me on that one? Yeah, Redbeard, I agree with you. I think that this game is fairly free-to-play friendly, and I think that the evidence of that is in the amount of premium currency that you get for free every day just by playing. I mean, if you are running short on gold, it is relatively easy for you to rack up gems and purchase gold using your gems. I think that the pricing levels are just a bit off. And I understand that they're kind of following in the mode that everybody else is, where you've got like a $99 purchase available, which is, I mean, $100. Asking somebody to invest $100 on your mobile game, that's a big purchase. You got to spend something. Spend money or gems. There are a few free-to-play players with a lot of saved gems. Usually there are soft launch players who got arena rewards for ages. Oh yeah, I see what you mean, Axel. So there are some people in the game who have been with it so long that they pooled enough gems to get all of these resources. So for example, they can trade their gems for extra energy for brick pace events somewhat willy-nilly. I just think it'll be interesting to see if the Ghostbusters are actually useful. Somebody somewhere is going to spend, their life savings to get the Ghostbusters into the game. And if they're not usable, then what do you get from that, you know? Yeah, Redbeard, I have too. Whenever I find a new game that I like, my typical modus operandi, if you will, is that I will play the game for a couple of months and then figure out if I enjoy it. And if I do, I'll find somewhere in the game that I have figured out is a reasonable value to put in some real money. And I do that for a couple of reasons. One, because this game has provided me entertainment for a couple of months, and that has monetary value to me. And secondly, because if I invest a little bit in the game, then it changes my outlook on the game itself. And if you invest too much in the game, and this is, everybody has a different level of when investment becomes too much for them. But if you invest too much in the game, basically it means that you have put in more money than you have received value. Whether that value is in the form of entertainment or education or whatever, that's up to you. You get to decide the value that you get out of the games and apps that you install on your phone or your tablet, sure. But I think it's very smart. Redbeard, I actually did the same thing. I purchased the $3 BART pack. I think for us it was $5. I think given currency exchange. But yeah, we'll see. And also Axel pointing out that Tipster will undoubtedly have all the 7-star Ghostbusters. I'm really just excited to see what the Cross the Streams animation looks like, because clearly that's what the ultimate is going to be. So yeah, I asked a question in there that they kind of sort of answered about what the purpose was behind putting the Ghostbusters into the game. I love the Ghostbusters, don't get me wrong, it's one of my favorite movies, but doesn't it seem kind of random in a Lego game with so much Lego IP to get through that they go off on like what is essentially random IP? So I think I asked why they did it, and they said that their answer to my particular question was that the Ghostbusters represented a nostalgic feel that they were going for, that they're going for in their game in general. They are trying to harken back to the 80s and 90s when Lego was really coming up, and they will probably be exploring the IP from that time, which I think is perfectly fine and great. I grew up in the 90s, so I'm more than happy to see IP from there. I wanted to have a purpose in the game beyond just, hey, let's find digital ways to collect these Lego sets. You know what I mean? Because if I really, really wanted Lego Ghostbusters, I suppose I'd go out and buy Lego Ghostbusters sets. If I was in it for like the real collection aspect of it, then I'd collect it in real life. So, getting more to the point, because I'm a little bit too verbose this morning. Shocker, I know. I think that let's see, Axel. I don't know if it's the same in this game, but in my last game, some Vietnamese guys working in Qatar could just whale easily. Their packs were costing 1/10 of US packs. People can't use most of the figs they buy at the moment. Oh, okay, those comments are not related to one another. Yeah, there have been issues actually with pretty much every mobile game in that they adjust the valuations based on the country that you're in. And I think that for the most part, they base everything off of, oh, look at this, 100 out of 100 Poppy tiles. So she's ready to get to 6 stars. And I don't need to get her up to 6 stars yet, but anyway, a lot of different games have talked about this, that I think most of the game's pricing is based on the country that is hosting the game, as it were. So if Gameloft is building this game primarily in America, then they'll base everything off of American prices, and then they will adjust for different currency valuations in other places, and then they will further adjust by, I guess, the perceived cost of living kind of thing in those places. So if you live in what would colloquially be considered to be a poorer country, they'll make the packs a lot cheaper for you. But what you have to also remember is that in a lot of those places, having a pack that costs 1/10 of what it costs in America is effectively an equal portion of your income kind of thing, or at least I think that's what they're going for. Yeah, so for example, the pound is stronger than the dollar, right? Which functionally means that if something costs $10 and something costs 10 pounds, that the 10-pound version is actually more expensive. I think that the difference between first world countries like that is probably something that they are less likely to care about, even though it does seem unfair. But I think the even bigger reflection of that would be in where they're making most of their money. I mean, if the packs are a little bit unevenly priced, but the income is coming in anyway, then it's hard pressed to make them learn a lesson. You know what I mean? There's apparently some EU law that forces them to do what? Add the taxes or make them the same price but just convert it into pounds, which effectively makes them more expensive. So yeah, while you're answering that question, am I missing exactly 25 tiles to unlock Yeti? Am I really? No way. No way! Oh god, I'm missing exactly 25 tiles to unlock Yeti. There's no way I'm spending $20 to unlock the Yeti. Forget about it. I appreciate your gumption, sir. And if I were actually making more money streaming, I might consider it, but nah. Trying to build this stream up, my man. Oh man. Okay, look at what we have today as our options. I think we're going to grab the Magisto Tower tiles as much as we can in our Brickspedition. I think we'll go top through Businessman Trent, down to Magisto Tower, up, down to Magisto Tower again. Then we'll cut up across to Ice Station, Space Station, wait, no, Ice Station. Yeah, Ice Station Odyssey. Then, whichever of these two seems a bit easier, and then our final node of the day. In Europe, every app store, Android, Apple, Samsung, have to charge the same amount for the same pack. Apparently on Apple, it was a little more expensive all along, and then they raised prices by 10% for Android as well. And then Axel commenting on the timing of my stream. I think it's a number of things. I think that there are plenty of people that are awake. I think that I have very little jurisdiction here, you know? I'm really just a player, and until they actually start recognizing content creators, or if I were to go hardcore into content creation like Sicko or Shiz, then I could probably get more people on this channel. The truth of the matter is, I really like to be live, but all of the post-processing stuff is, while it's actually stuff that I can do, significantly less interesting to me. I'd rather have somebody else who I could give my content to and go, here, find an interesting thing from the stream to cut into a video, and then just make it a video and I'll upload it to my channel. Ultimately, that's how I would love to get it. I know that there's some work that has to be done in order to get there, but I'm a performer, dude. I like I like actually standing up and doing the work. You know what I mean? So that's my take on it. And I think if and when the content creator program comes out, if I'm lucky enough to be chosen to be a content creator officially, I think that'll probably help lend some credence to it. It's basically Lego's way of saying, hey, here's some of the content we really like and the content we think you should be watching if you're not already. I think that'll pull some people in. And then, until then, it's really just learning how to do everything else, seeing about adding more pomp and circumstance to the stream if that's necessary, and figuring out how to advertise. I need to get better about Instagram and Twitter and all that kind of stuff. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work. And the only part of it I really want to do is the live stream part. But there's just so much more work that goes into it. So Redbeard, are you saying that the law that they made is such that the prices are supposed to be the same after you account for currency difference, or that the number is supposed to be the same? So like if it says $9.99 in dollars, it has to say $9.99 in pounds? Or are you saying that the law says that it's supposed to be that if it's $9.99 in dollars, that it's supposed to be like $7.99 in pounds, so that it effectively it's the same price? Instagram was receiving the Ghostbusters Heroes updates 24 hours after Facebook. Well, it's also probably a scheduled post, but strange. Yeah, I actually this morning, because you guys pointed out to me before, actually I think it was Cosmic pointed out that they post on Facebook before they post in Discord. I made sure to bookmark the Facebook page so that every day before I stream, I can make sure to check the Facebook posts to make sure that I'm not missing anything that people might want to discuss. Also, I've noticed that viewers are harder to get on the weekends. And I think it's because on the weekends, that's when people have their own time to play games and go outside and have free time, essentially. So asking somebody to spend their time with you on the weekend is, I mean, that's a commitment. That's a commitment. Basically, it says if you buy something in a mobile game, it has to cost the same if you buy it on Android as it costs on Apple. Oh, yes. That I actually do remember. That was a big issue in the States as well. That especially if an app was released that had like a Facebook login, then you could open the app on your Android and buy something, and then you could play with that thing on your Apple device. So I think it had more to do with that aspect of it, actually. There were some games, like for a very long time, in fact, I don't know if it's still this way or not because I haven't played it in a while, but Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, you could load it on your Android and you could load it on your iOS device, but the prices were very, very different. And you couldn't actually share your account cross-platform. So I had two different accounts for a while, one on my Android and one on iOS that were completely unrelated. And part of that actually caused me to spend less money, because in certain circumstances I was like, well, my Android one is better, and on other circumstances I was like, well, my iOS one is better. So it actually was more confusing than it was worth. I don't know if they've made it cross-platform now, like really cross-platform, where you can have one account cross-platform, but in the early days it wasn't, and they took a lot of flack for that. You can share accounts here, and for the Windows Store prices are still the old ones? Really? Oh man. So they made the law specifically pertain to Android and iOS, but they didn't include all the rest of the digital stores while they were doing that? I wonder why. I mean, you have to assume that they thought of that. How very strange. Man, I really need to upgrade my hiker. He's starting to pull me back now. I like having him in here for the heals, but his damage leaves a lot to be desired, isn't that right? Aw, missed the dizzy on the captain. Yeah, right? Hiker's a very easy farm. I started, however, farming all of my castle people so that because they've delayed, was it Officer Primo coming out, but he requires all the castle folks. I have started gathering all of those castle folk. I'm spending extra gems each day in the regular to get more regular energy, so that I can farm. Was it specifically Go-Go and Burnibus from that energy? Got to get that guy up. I think the law is for all stores. What I was trying to say is LEGO Legacy only changed prices for Android and Apple, not for Windows. So the argument they gave for the price hike was either a lie, or they forgot to change it for Windows, and we'll hear from EU jurisdiction shortly. I mean, when it comes to money, people don't miss anything, man. Yeah, I know we won't be seeing Primo anytime soon, which is why I said, oh, well, you know what? This might be a good time for me to farm the rest of those castle heroes. I have gotten my city heroes up to the point where I don't really need them to be any stronger for what they are used for. I managed to clear the event. Let's see, she's got the mist coming up. Cool. The event that they're used for, I managed to get the gold trophy on, so they are as strong as they need to be right now. And I'm not using them in the arena or anywhere else really, so I can leave them for a minute while I focus on some of the other things in the game, which is great. And one of the things that I'm going to focus on is the castle heroes, so that when they do eventually decide to put Primo in the game, I can be ready. I think that it is interesting that they decided to pull Officer Primo due to the political situation about police. I think it's cool. I think that it is, you know, they say they don't really want to be political or make political statements. And I think that's good on their part. They recognize the fact that they are a collectible toy brand, you know what I mean? And I would assume, and if you feel differently, let me know, but I would assume that Officer Primo is just supposed to represent a police officer. You know what I mean? He's like a crossing guard police officer. I mean, he's got a sign that says stop on it, right? He doesn't have a gun. All the characters are yellow, like literally yellow. So it is, I think that it is very, very clear that here within this game, all of these characters are supposed to represent what we would generally consider to be the pinnacle of whatever this thing is, right? Officer Primo would be like the police officer that you look up to rather than the police officer that's causing a problem. Now, I know that very statement is very politically charged depending on who you're talking to, but I hope that the point is somewhat clear. At the same time, I think that it's nice that they said, you know what? Because we're not trying to be political, if we then ignored the political situation and released this character anyway, then that might be seen as political by a lot of people, by us basically saying, well, we don't care what's going on, it doesn't have anything to do with us, so we're going to do it our way anyway. Could be very easily misconstrued as a political statement. You know what I mean? So I think ultimately they made the right decision. It is, of course, their decision to make. I don't think they're going to lose anything by delaying Primo coming out. there wasn't anybody that was, besides me, who was like clamoring for Primo to come out. So he'll come out in a time when they can say like, hey, this is your friendly crossing guard Primo. In fact, they could just change his name to Crossing Guard Primo if they really wanted to. They're supposed to give us a roadmap now, so we'll hear about it at least 1 month before the event, I'd hope. Yes, I hope that happens too. Redbeard, it says that there was a message retracted. I'm not entirely sure what that means, to be completely honest with you. I don't know what it was that you would have typed that would have been retracted, but I understand why they removed it. It's the easiest way to avoid the issue, but I don't think that making the police looking like bad guys is a solution to the issue either. Not telling than Lego Gameloft are the ones doing the police bashing, understanding me well. I understood, Axel, I actually understood you very well up until that very last statement, the parenthetical statement, I don't know that one. What does it say? 10 pounds is $11.50, and 11 pounds, what the 10 pound cost in the US is $12.50. So basically the EU pays 25% more. Oh, you retracted it yourself. Okay, cool. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what you're saying, Redbeard. So instead of the US having it be $10 and the EU having it be like $8 so that they were actually the same price kind of thing, they do it basically the other way around. It feels a bit like pressurized by the police bashing movement occurring now. Oh, well, yes, absolutely, Axel. I completely agree with you. I think that they also know that. And I think that's actually an okay thing in this particular moment. And by that, what I mean is, if they decide, you know what, there are a lot of people that care about this issue a lot, to whom it is very close, personal, and very, very important. To us, it's just a minifigure that we could release into the game. But and that minifigure, that minifigure doesn't represent police bashing. He doesn't represent the oppression of a particular community to us, because we released Officer Primo in a city building set like 40 years ago in the original Legos. To us, it's just part of our classic collection. However, at the same time, we are aware that to other people, this means something a lot more, and it speaks a lot more closely to them personally. And if we are to release a character that to us is just part of our classic heritage, but to everybody else, it represents an actual active symbol of oppression in the community right now that everybody's very, very hyped up on, then it's just as easy for us to go, you know what? We've got a lot of other things that we can release, so we'll just release those instead. I think that while it's unfortunate that it happened, I think it makes sense for them to look at it and go, you know what? It's more important to them than it is to us. So let's just take a back seat here and try to preemptively look at what it is that they might feel or have a problem with and say, you know what? Just take a chill. Let us take a chill pill for a second and let everybody get kind of sorted out before we can say, and then there are those police officers who just hold up the crossing guards who help your kids cross the street and get to school safely, that want to prevent people from speeding and don't even carry a gun, and that's Officer Primo. And then people go, yeah, all right, cool, Officer Primo's in the game, and they don't really have a thought about it one way or another. It all makes sense. It's an unfortunate reality about the world right now, but the Ghostbusters, I mean, if you really want to look at it, we could have a whole dissertation about the Ghostbusters being a symbol of the patriarchal tyranny, because they're all men and they shoot laser beams from these giant guns that could be seen as just an extension of their penis in that Freudian kind of way that it's all men are ever thinking about, and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I'm not saying I agree with any of that, but you know what I mean. Like, there are people out there who are going to talk about all this kind of stuff, and then everybody else is going to go, wait a minute, man. You do realize you're talking about the Ghostbusters, right? Let's see, what is it? One point that I mentioned and that went missing on the chat is the double map brick pace. Yeah, they said, oh god, yes. I did not hear more info on that. But I did notice that somebody brought that up, and I think it was A-Blocks who basically said everybody hated that version so much that we're never going to do it again. He didn't say what they were going to do instead. He just said, we're not doing that anymore, because everyone really hated it. I heard there will be normal nodes to spend energy, so you can use all of your energy. That's good. And that'll be longer than usual. Yeah, they did say because there are more characters that the Brick Pace event was going to be like a month long. Like or they said the full... Sorry, let me rephrase that. They said the full Ghostbusters event was going to be more than a month long. Oh, they healed the Redbeard. She has too many debuffs. I'm not gonna do her AoE. Come on, Redbeard, get out of here. The hiker's got his heal now. Everybody's healing. Come on, Redbeard. Get bent, sir. There we go. Alright. Let's keep everybody alive for a minute. I'll be interested to see... So, the thing that most interests me, actually, and tell me what you guys think about this, is how they make all of these... how they make all of these individual sets relevant in the larger game. So, for example, you collect the Ghostbusters. Great, you've got them. And you can use those to fight ninja teams. So if for whatever reason Brick Expedition continues to be janky at the end and it's always just hard ninjas at the end and they're all stealthy and whatnot, then great. You pop out your Ghostbusters at the very end of a Brick Expedition map, you use them to defeat the ninjas, and boom, you win. But that doesn't seem like enough reason for me to get an entire team just to fight one node in one place. So what do you guys think that they should do about that aspect of it? I'm sure that raids might be a solution. They come out with raid content that inspires the use of different teams, or at the very least more teams. They release more events in the game, maybe. I mean, like, not events like Brick Pace events. I mean, like, the regular recurring events, like Peg Leg's Treasure and all those regular events. Maybe there's one for the Ghostbusters or something like that. Let's see, which of these two teams should we use? Oh, clearly this top one. What gets me about it is if you're a beginner in this game, and I know that a lot of beginner videos and walkthroughs and tutorials have already been created, they should add the new sets and new heroes to the events with tiles. Oh, yeah, so the event, for example, where you can get tiles for the 4 basic sets, and you're like, okay, well, what use is this to me now, right? You either have that set or you don't, and if you don't, you're probably not getting it for any particular reason. I think that that would be smart if they extended that event to have more useful stuff in it. I was actually thinking about that the other day. I think that's a really good place to put them. or a really good place to make these unboxed characters useful. I'm really, they said that there was going to be another Q&A soon, a general Q&A. That one I'm very, very interested in. And I guess it'll probably be on a Thursday, because that's usually when they do them, right? But that one, the Ghostbusters Q&A honestly was the first one that I thought, oh, it might be useful to actually live stream these Q&As, right? And put the Discord window up on my stream and actually talk about it while it's happening live. The goal there would be hopefully that we could actually pull some people out of the Discord Q&A that don't really have anything useful to say, but just want to chit chat, so that maybe the Q&A could be streamlined a little bit and actually have just more relevant content. But also there's a lot of things that get said in those Q&As that I think we should actually discuss while they're giving us these answers, because a lot of the times they give us like half answers, right? And it might be interesting to go through those as they're happening while people sort of like have it going on the inside while it still really means something to them. To say, hey, what do you think about this answer that they just gave us? You know, instead of waiting for Shiz to create a recap PDF to release, which, please don't misunderstand me. The fact that Shiz does that is really, really nice. Why would it be impossible to live stream? Oh, I see what you mean. Quite the opposite, actually. So what I'm getting at is, because I can control the Discord window, right, we can basically, I can scroll through the window as it's happening, get some of the more interesting questions, some of the more interesting answers, and when people start discussing whether or not Shiz is secretly Kelvin and is married to Bricko or vice versa, then I can just scroll past all of that and get back to the most recent question. Right, sorry, Sicko. Sicko and Bricko, right? That's who it was that they were talking about, one of them being Kelvin or something. Silly. But I digress. I think I might try it just to see how it works, depending on when they decide to do the next live stream. I mean, the next Q&A. And if I have to work, and if work is busy and all that kind of stuff, I might live stream the next Q&A. Because I think it'll be a really, really interesting one. There are so many questions that people have, right? About what is going to be the format of raids? When are raids coming? What are the changes that they're going to be making to Brickspedition? Because they did mention that too, quite a few times actually, that there are some big changes coming to Brickspedition. But they didn't really say what they were. The comments that they made were in reference to people's constant complaints about the dodge mechanic in the game at higher levels and the fact that it's always ninjas at the end. They basically said that they were going to be changing that, but they didn't really comment as to how they were going to be changing that. And yeah, Axel, you're absolutely right. When are you going to be doing this? When are you going to be doing that? Don't worry, guys. We're going to be doing it soon. All right, cool. So like soon in the galactic sense, or soon in like the timeline of a mobile game sense? Like, give us an idea what soon means, because from a different point of view, it can mean a very different thing. The Earth has been around for less than 5 billion years, depending on whether or not you believe the religious stuff. But in those 5 billion years, waiting 3 more years to make updates seems like a relatively short amount of time. That was a very heady comment. Oh man, I don't even know if that made any sense, but you know what I mean. Man, I'm feeling loopy today, aren't I? Okay, Brickspedition map, day 1 reset, complete. Now, because Redbeard is watching, I have to remember to actually put all of my characters in the excavation so he doesn't have to message me later like a noob and remind me to do it. Excavation. I love this that you only have to get 80,000. Wait a minute, check this out. Okay, support, pirate, and 80,000 is the top reward. I was just about to say, I can use only Cook Bart and get all of these rewards. That feels nice. What would Yorick give me? Look at that. 17,000 just for Yorick, level 10, 2 stars. Redbeard, if you weren't here, I would just lose. I would just lose out on everything. I would constantly be forgetting to do this. Now I'm just throwing in everybody that I can just to make sure that I've got all of the different achievements. Gotta make sure that we get all the Magisto while we can. Wow, check that out. With today's tags and everybody on my team selected, I can get almost to 1 million awesomeness. That makes me feel pretty good. One day I'm gonna top 1 million awesomeness, and then I'll be super duper. There's an achievement for using helpers in the Brickspedition? Hold on a second. Let's go check this out. Oh, and look at that. I did just complete another achievement. What achievement was it? Complete 20 Brickspedition maps. Okay, cool. Complete a Brickspedition event with no characters lost in battle, and complete a Brickspedition event without using a med kit. Both of those are relatively difficult to do. Obviously, I haven't done them yet. Win 500 arena battles, use 250 brick separators, complete, max out all missions. Really? The Brickspedition helpers are counted? So you're looking at, let's see, max out, complete, 50, complete Brickspedition missions, max out missions. I still have to go back through and max out all these different levels. Earn relics, missions, modifiers, upgrade hero abilities, open bags. Add 500 heroes at max excavations bonus. Nope, that's, well, but this is one that we're doing. Dig site experts, add 500 heroes that match the excavation's bonus tags. Obviously, that's the one that we are really going for with adding extra people, even though we don't need to the excavation. This one, you're talking about this one? Always welcome here, use 1,000 shared heroes. This counts if you do it in the Brickspedition too. That I didn't realize. I thought that only made a difference if you did it in the regular one. I actually quit the last node 7 times on purpose today to use all my helpers. Whoa! That's a really good idea. And did you notice, Axel, that when you did that, it actually counted 7 separate times, even though you quit out of the node? Star up a set. Heal a hero using med kits. You also get for that. Complete hard missions. Complete. Purchase from Brickspedition. Complete. Reach Gold 1 arena tier. Still have to get into number 10. Reach Platinum 3. And completely complete 1 Brickspedition event. Dude. Axel. Yes. I didn't know that. That's amazing. And I appreciate you all the more for it. Let's, okay. So, Jester Gogo, I've unlocked your node, right? and you're in Pip Town. I need to make sure that I hit the glyph hunt for the finals of the day. Yeah, here we go. So we're going to grab the extra energy. I've been spending gems to get extra energy up until you get to 100 gems. I do not do the 100 gems. But this allows me to get throughout the course of the day. It allows me to do all the Argenta nodes. It allows me to do all of the Darwin nodes, all of the Jester nodes, and all of the Burnibus nodes. So basically I can farm all of the characters that I'm currently trying to farm. And then my goal, because until my castle team is all at 5 stars, it's until my castle team gets everybody to 5 stars, so that when the Primo event comes back, I can get Primo. It doesn't really matter. So I've been just looking. I favorited all of my castle heroes that are the ones I'm currently farming, focusing on whoever is the lowest, sort of the most, so to speak. So Burnibus, Headley, Jester Gogo. Headley is obviously going to be the easiest farm because he's in the Monolith and Glyph Hunt, but Monolith Waste will be enough to get him ahead very, very quickly. I've got 1 minute until I have enough energy to do his whole node at once. So you know what? We're gonna spend that minute in an arena battle. So obviously not doing that versus the crazy ninjas, but I know I'll finish the last node easily. I can quit and rip. Oh, yeah, I see what you're saying. Cool. So you get to the end and there's like level 64 ninjas. And you're like, I'm not going to waste all of these people. I'll use them to actually finish this event. All right, we got pushed back to 50 overnight. That's not too bad, actually. Who do we have here? Level 42 with the 2-star dojo. Who are other options? Level 41 with the pirates. 43 with the easily beatable castle team. I think in this case we'll actually go for this one. Kind of the low-hanging fruit, admittedly, but we're gonna grab it anyway because I feel like it. Because they have King Brutus, which is a problem, because it means that I can just hammer on Go-Go right from the beginning. Bye, Go-Go. Miss! Come on, Argenta. Oof. Now the question is, should I go for Burnibus instead? Because Go-Go is going to run out of his taunt. Now, stick with Go-Go because Go-Go will get his taunt back when it gets to be his turn again. Unless he's stunned, in which case he won't. This team does a lot lower damage, so we're going to use Valiant's buff instead of his taunt at first. Now we're going to put the Dizzy on Burnibus. Thank you. So that we can murder the Burn Boy. I am going to heal up the team. Burnibus is still going to be taunting for a minute. With the Dizzy on him. Okay. Brutus put the taunt on himself. Major, major bum bum. But can we just kill him and get it over with? Oh, a series of very unlucky dodges plaguing what should have been a very easy fight. Wow, another dodge! What is happening? Get out of here, guys! Oh my goodness! No way. Saw that one coming. Dude, 3 dodges on some of my highest damage dealing abilities, and look what has happened. This is terrible news. Okay. Verta comes up. Oh, that was sloppy. I saw the miss was there. Oh, don't freeze. Now, unfortunately, we're gonna have to heal our cook, which means our Genta's gonna go down. So now the funny part is, oh, no. Verta just does too much damage. Wow! Can you believe that? That was awful. That should have been an easy battle for us to win, but 3 dodges on the same set of characters in a row with some of our biggest hitting abilities turned what should have been a win into a really, really terrible loss. Oof. I'm gonna see that battle in my sleep, dude. That one was rough. Well, I guess I didn't do enough praying to RN Jesus over the course of the last evening. I cry, but only on the inside, as I leave you guys to the rest of your day. I shall be back at 9 a.m. New York time tomorrow. Hopefully there's some announcements made by then that we can discuss. Until then, like, subscribe, tell your friends. And I will see y'all tomorrow. As always, thank you for joining, RB and Axel. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your afternoons. And we'll see you later.